Excuse me, I'm next in line. Move. Excuse me, I'm next in line. Watch out. Excuse me, I'm next in line. I said move. Excuse me, I'm next in line.
And welcome to a very cultured episode of Bills Review. I'm your host, Will D.
There we go. Clap, clap, clap.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. I really did have a really itchy beard, so I just had to make it look good. But yeah, no, I'm your host, Will D. We're going to start off with some sports. We're going to do the quick rundown to get to the good stuff. So, as far as the NFL goes, Jets still suck, Giants still suck, and the Bills are almost there behind the Patriots. All right? It's good enough for you, right? Okay, cool. NBA, the Nets are the only team from New York that stand a chance at possibly making the playoffs. What's new? And the Knicks are dead last. Again, what's new? And in NHL, the Islanders are still taking names. The Devils suck, and the Rangers slightly suck. All right, so there you go. But this has been a pretty good, entertaining week in sports. There are a lot of things that have been going on. So first is NFL. When the Browns played the Steelers, we had a very, very heated moment where the quarterback and a defensive player are getting into it, more like the quarterback getting his butt kicked. And out of nowhere, another Steeler comes to save the day and beats the crap out of the Browns player who was attacking his quarterback. Now, why has this been making waves? Not only was the incident entertaining, don't get me wrong, it was because of the penalties that were received. So for attacking a quarterback with his own helmet, an indefinite suspension. For attacking the man, attacking your quarterback, 3-game suspension. And for whatever reason, randomly attacking the quarterback after the other two players have stopped fighting each other, a 1-game suspension. Just for kind of locking into the ground to just make yourself relevant. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So essentially, the NFL is punishing a man who took one blow. Now, why the back and forth, I still don't know. I didn't get that deep into it because I was just laughing at the video as I kept rewatching it because of the ending of it when that random guy out of nowhere just hits the quarterback. But he takes the helmet off the quarterback and smashes him in with the back of the helmet that has the padding. One time in the face and was letting it rock, right? That's what happened. Now, all the aggression was to pin the quarterback down and rip off his helmet and then give him that one good whack. After that, he gets his butt beat pretty much by another Steelers player. Like, the crap beat out of him. Multiple hits to the head, brings him to the floor, keeps hitting him on the floor. People have to try and pull him up. Like, he's getting his butt beat. And it all leads to one conclusion. The NFL is scared of Captain America. Because the guy who used defensive armor, so essentially a shield, beat someone with it, and they think he's a super soldier. Because the guy who beat the crap out of him, he's cool, it was for his teammate, it was a little excessive, but, it's okay. I mean, he really beat the crap out of this guy. Like, if the guy didn't have a helmet, he'd be hospitalized with the ass whooping that he took. So, that's my theory. They're scared of Captain America. And maybe it's because of all the bull crap that they've been doing to the black players where even Captain America has to be like, I know I'm white, but this is not patriotism. So, essentially, the NFL is trying to make up for this. And part of it was Jay-Z's new deal with them, which really was a sellout because they hadn't done the one thing we asked them to. Everybody remember Colin Kaepernick? Well, if you don't, the NFL screwed him over for pretty much standing up for black people. Just despite the league being mostly black, they still don't like us. Now, Jay-Z was trying to make money off of this and try to organize black people, doing good stuff for the NFL because he could profit off of it. And when he got lashback from the black community, be like, yo, bro, ban on the NFL. We are not trying to give them money. He's like, whoa, I'm getting them to spend money on black art. You know what? I'll do something else. I'll get Colin Kaepernick that chance that he's been deserved as one of the best quarterbacks in the league relative to the time that he was kicked out, and get him, a training session. like a workout for teams to see him, see if he's still up to his former professional skill level, and if somebody be willing to pick him up. He may not start again, but at the time, he was coming off the bench too. So just something like that. So Colin Kaepernick was going to do his whole workout at the Atlanta Falcons gym until the NFL said that they wouldn't allow media to come. Well, why, NFL? Why couldn't the media cover Colin Kaepernick making a comeback? That's called good publicity for you old, white racists. Well, it would mean that you would have to admit that you were wrong in the first place. So you know what Kaepernick did? He said, I'll still come to Atlanta. I promised people in Atlanta the opportunity to see me do my thing. Now, it may seem like a little egotistical thing, but here's the thing. We're fans, right? If you tell me that one of the modern-day leaders of black movement, right, and I'm talking about a man so humble that when I met him, he didn't say a word to anyone until someone brought up Tootsie Rolls, because like a big kid, he loves Tootsie Rolls, and he made sure we all knew it, right? This is the type of guy who took the clothes off his back, went to a Workforce One office, and was giving out suits to those who could fit his frame, because one reason why black people in the community cannot get jobs is because they don't have professional outfits. So when you come to the interview, you don't look right for the job, no matter what the job is. So he brought what he could, and granted, he's a big man, but a lot of us in the hood, we all comes in different shapes and sizes, so there were people who could actually use it, and did use it. Hopefully it helped them in their pursuits, but the mere fact that he was willing to try, and the fact that it's his clothes, hell, if they didn't even use the interview, they could probably sell it online for some money, because they need it if they don't got a job, right? This guy still wanted to come and please the fans, please the people of Atlanta, which is rightfully so one of the biggest black capitals in this country, right? So it's the minority safe haven of the South. Goes and performs at a high school where now everybody can see. So you have the media coverage, you have the public, you have the teams that came to see him do the workout. And after all this, right, all the good that Jay-Z was trying to do to make sure that black people still loved him and not just his wife, because bae can do no wrong, right? He then calls out Colin Kaepernick for making this a media circus when it should have just been a workout. Jay-Z, the only coon bigger than you right now in black history was a made-up character that Samuel L. Jackson played in Django. You suck. I'll leave it at that. I'm not even going to go in more on Jay-Z. I think Solange did that enough, that hypocritical wench. Then, the other news in sports that I wanted to get to was actually wrestling. Well, that's not sports. Sports entertainment, fine. The word sports is in it. Sue me. CM Punk is back. And he didn't go AEW. Somehow, some way, him and McMahon actually reached an agreement. And now he's joining WWE. Not as a wrestler yet, but as a correspondent for WWE Backstage on FS1. Now, why is this major? Because when CM Punk left wrestling, it wasn't because he wanted to. When CM Punk was forced out of wrestling, it kind of forced his hand to go into MMA, right? His loss of a career also led to the downfall of his wife's career, unfortunately. And surprisingly, it had nothing to do with any of her mental illnesses that she's very open and honest about. In fact, her whole character was kind of based off the fact that, yes, she does actually have two separate personalities because she suffers from bipolar issues. Like, she's gone on record with this kind of stuff, right? So he just caused so much waves, and for years, him and McMahon have been at war, and fans were always on CM Punk's side because essentially Punk was asking for what he deserved, right? The position of being that dude, the money that it makes, and they just kept pushing Cena. He was willing to talk out about a lot of the stuff that happened backstage, and they don't like that, or they didn't, because now WWE is profiting off the fact that they're exposing all the secrets throughout all the history of the WWE. Right? That they may have a whole network about the past of everything that we didn't know. Because now people like connecting with wrestlers in their personal lives. Social media has made that a thing. Most of the wrestlers now have officially taken off their stage name from their social media. Right? And they put up their actual name. You can look them up by their actual name. Like if you're looking up for Sasha Banks, her name is Mercedes. Right? You can look them up, and on their page it says wrestler, a.k.a., and you'll see Sasha Banks named in the blurb, but not how you search her. because they're trying to build that personal connection with the audience, especially in this era of AEW kind of scaring the crap out of them. CM Punk's hate has been so big, everybody thought AEW reaching out to him, and he talked about, Jericho talked about it, he talked about it, whatever. It was like, CM Punk's going to do it, he's going to do it. But here's the thing, folks. In his years outside, like I said, he went towards MMA, and he got his butt whooped. Not just did he get his butt whooped, right? He turned down a fight against a Power Ranger. Now, granted, Jason David Frank has a legitimate martial arts background, right? Is the MF Power Ranger, right? And has a really strong professional MMA career record. Like, his skill is legit. I know we like to wave it off because, he's a freaking Power Ranger. And that's part of what ruins the rep when you're supposed to be the badass WWE guy, like Brock Lesnar made the transition, Bobby Lashley did well in his own MMA, right? You're supposed to be that next dude, and you back down from a Power Ranger. Like, granted, Jason David Frank is no joke, but he is a Power Ranger. It doesn't sound good, despite the fact he really can beat people up, that you turned down a fight from a Power Ranger. Not even that you went in and you got your butt whooped and whatever, and, he's a 25-year martial artist. No. You turned down the fight. You ran from the fight, right? You were that last putty who saw all his friends get destroyed and tried to run back to Rita like, I can't do this. Right. Like, that's the perspective that he has. And WWE offered him a way back into wrestling without ever having to really face that embarrassment off the rip. The moment you go in stage, a lot of the worst things about your personal life or about your character's presentation, that's the first thing that people rip you on the mic. And a company like AEW will definitely try and go hard from the beginning because they have to make a name for themselves. CM Punk is known for his ego. He cannot take those hits lightly. They really will actually affect him, and he's not going to be happy, and it's going to be another war with another wrestling company, and he may be completely blackballed from industry. So when they offer him a way in, this leaves him with two options. Legitimately, great wrestling career, great wrestler, still has fan support for being a wrestler. And now he's a correspondent. A lot of legends come back as correspondents. We're not going to see Booker T in the ring doing his spinneroonie anytime soon, but we love seeing him crack jokes on mofos because he's that five-time world heavyweight champion, and we love it. This is CM Punk's way. And the thing about it is, some correspondents, when young enough and physically fit, can come back into the ring. Short-term stints, they don't usually take bumps, they give hits. We could essentially, in the next few months, if fans are really asking for it, they keep asking when he coming back in, all right, whatever. We kind of get him by ringside one night, and one night he's going to hit the GTS, and people are wondering, is this the beginning of CM Punk back? And that is his way back into the ring. And if not, they allowed him to come back home. They allowed his wife to come back home by making this move. And she legitimately is one of the best women's champions they ever had, right? They literally had to try and erase her from records, and people still shout her name. That is AJ Lee. So this is a really great, big first step for WWE and for CM Punk, who legitimately needs to build back some of the clout he lost from running from a Power Ranger. On that note, we're going to go to our first commercial break. When we come back, there's a lot more going on in news and media. So, Charles, if you could, take us to our first break.
watch, I promise you, girl, I'll never let you go. Baby, cool, baby, cool, baby, cool. Want your life to be my boo. Promise you, girl, I'll never let you go. Cool, baby, cool, baby, cool, baby, cool. Don't make me look like a fool. Don't make me look like a fool.
All right. So, couple things locally. The mayor has designated 550 people from 5 different city departments, including even sanitation. I guess that makes sense. But 550 people will now be trying to help homeless people find shelter over the next few months. It's a new program, Outreach NYC. I mean, all right. I like the principle of this, right? There are many of short documentaries about homeless people, especially here in New York and San Francisco. But looking to better themselves, right? Like the stories of how they ended up where they were, and a lot of them are, you know, besides drug cases, a lot of them are just unfortunate circumstances. So there are a lot of people who need help and would appreciate help, but the current system is also very flawed. And under Bill de Blasio, there have been a lot of strides made since 2014 where they try to help homeless, and this is his next big project. But really, 550 people? Like, I'm not sure 550 people can clean up the 2 train line. Like, real talk. We got 5 boroughs. That's about 110 people a borough, right? And really more like 4 because, I mean, does anybody really think about Staten Island? Like, really? Mm-hmm. So you can boost up that number by another 25 per, like 135 per person, that side of Dale, right? Going around the boroughs to try and help homeless people with new, you know, their new shelters, to get them in shelters and things like that. Look, in principle, this sounds great. But one thing that we've seen in current shelter systems and on organizations, whatever that help, is that the conditions suck. Like, you really want to convince homeless people to go into these shelters and this or whatever, you have to fix them. You have current shelter issues where women can't even get feminine hygiene products, right? So now that becomes a situation, and they end up going to a lot of hospitals, and hospitals have to deal with them. And that's not the environment that people in the hospital really need, with people who are unclean and this and the third, and they're not going to the shelter because they can't get themselves clean in the shelter. Look, you want to help the homeless, fix the shelters you currently have. We don't need new outreach. We don't need an extra 250 people who still ain't doing nothing. What we need is people actually cleaning these shelters that are known for having vermin in it, that are known for having, you know, water damages and asbestos and stuff like that. The homeless do better living outside in their carts because at least there's fresh air. And the animals are eating the trash, not trying to eat them. Right? As disgusting as a picture as that may be, it's just the honest truth of it. I especially now, working where I work more so than living where I live, I deal with them personally a lot. People who are homeless or were just homeless and have started to enter a program. Like I said, there are means that have been somewhat effective, and there are more people being able to reform their lives. And I'm saying these programs are good, but we don't need more. We need reform in the ones that what we have. I know people who literally are so afraid to go back to their shelters. What little belongs they have, they leave it there. They're more willing to go back out into the street with nothing, despite the weather, just because it's more dangerous in the shelter, because they're gonna try and kill each other for the little bits that they have. And some people have died. Some people have been raped. Some people, like, it's so sad that it's not just the fact that they have no roof over their head. They're not even safe in the roofs that are being publicly provided. And that needs to be fixed before we add more people looking to put these guys into these unsafe environments. I commend you, de Blasio, for trying, but your efforts should be going elsewhere. Although, despite that news, good news. We have 8 local shops here in the Bronx nearby Yankee Stadium that all feature Yankee gear, right? And, you know, you make a lot of money, especially come baseball season, when you're nearby and you can sell these products because all the fans come, right? However, Nike was trying to be a douche because they made a deal with Major League Baseball for exclusivity on Yankee products. But just the other day, these 8 shops won the legal right to keep this going. Nike can't touch them. They can keep selling the Yankee gear. And that's 8 local businesses that took it to the man and won. So congratulations, folks. We win. Now, that's the local news. But there's some really, really funny stuff that's been going down. So I'm going to hit you with the what the F in the news. So first and foremost, we got a picture of a guy in prison eating a Popeye's chicken sandwich. How mad are you that an inmate can get that sandwich before you could? Let alone, how the hell did someone get a phone into his cell? We're not talking about at the visiting hours in the cafeteria with the familia. No. We're not even talking about in the yard where maybe somebody just caught him eating the sandwich. Like, no. Homeboy's in his cell, which means either he got a phone and access to the internet, which, yeah. Anywho, that's in his cell. Or the cops were taking it because they thought it was funny that he got it, like, from his packaging. You know, that he got the chicken sandwich. All I'm saying is, regardless of all the contraband that's in there, how homeboy get that before half the people in the street? The other day, me and my friends wanted to go to Popeyes, and we were in the Heights, right? So, not even black folk really up there. You got all these different Spanish eating places and all these Dominicans, and yet Popeyes had the line that was going out the freaking place. Just for a chicken sandwich, people. I don't know if I don't know if you've ever had boneless chicken before, because it sounds like some of y'all had it, or if you even had it with bread, because essentially, if you just got the chicken strips and some buns, there you go. So just you know, if you were wondering, chicken strips, buns, there you go. Yeah, but I loved it because I've seen people literally wait online for an hour and a half just to get that chicken sandwich. And how do I know it was an hour and a half? Because I left my house to go run errands, came back, and I had to pass the Popeyes going both ways. And that same person that was at the back finally was near the front. I don't know how much longer they were waiting. You know what I'm saying? Now, besides that, woman gets bit by polar bears? So this lady somehow gets down, falls into an enclosure, and in several attempts of trying to lift her up, she was so heavy that the poles just couldn't hold her weight. She kept slipping, and the bears kept trying to eat her. And they were not even trying to be coy about it, like, you know, kind of sneaky and biting. They were like walking up. They were trying to fight her off the poles at some points, like, and she deserved it because she thought she can go up in there and play with these damn polar bears. I am very happy with the response of fans on the Will's Review page on Facebook, because y'all really calling her out on her bull crap, right? So, I just love when you guys are, one, very communicative with us, but, yeah, when we're on the same vibe, it feels really good, because I'm thinking this is one of the dumbest people in the world. Polar bears do not drink Coca-Cola, folks. They eat seals, and they'll eat anything else meaty. This includes you, especially if you are as meaty as the one who fell into the enclosure. And if you're like, oh, that's so mean, you're calling her fat. She was fat enough, they thought she was as big as a walrus and tried to eat her, and it's caught on video. Alright? So don't be mad at me that she has the same shape as a baby seal. Next. X-arm is a thing. This is extreme arm wrestling, where you can win an opponent by pinning his arm, or knocking him out, or wrapping him up and making him tap out. Essentially, I'm trying to put your arm down, and at the same time, I'm beating the crap out your head, kicking it, punching it. I might even try and come around if I can even finagle that, you know, long enough arms, and choke you. If I can't choke you like that, I'm going to choke you like the Big Show. This is the thing, folks. I don't know whether to be mad or impressed that people thought that arm wrestling had to go to the next level. I thought the slap game was like the next level arm wrestling, right? I've seen fools smacked unconscious and smacked so hard that when their head knocked them out this way, the lashback knocked them back into sense. That is extreme arm wrestling to me. But this is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen, regardless of if I think it's so over the top. But I allow it. I think that this should be televised. This should be definitely televised. This is up there with sports so crazy they should be Irish national sports. And if you don't believe me, Google Irish national sports and watch what kind of games these people play. Trust me, it'll change your life. And last but not least, I posted a video actually on my podcast page about this because I couldn't believe it, and I think it fills the realm of that more. But this is just for news purposes. There's something called TryQuinn.com, I believe, and Quinn is the company that was created by Caroline Spiegel, who has a famous brother of sorts, and it features audio-only porn. Right? But it's not just audio-only porn in the sense that, oh, well, it's just sounds or it's just books or, you know, it's stories told. It is literally social media audio-only porn, which means that now you're sharing with people the audio porn that you're into. I've never been more uncomfortable saying porn than when I just say audio porn. Like, something about that just seems wrong. Visual porn, graphics, whatever, no problem. Audio porn feels nasty to me. I don't know why. But essentially, you're allowed to like and comment and message people about different audio porn. I am too confused by the thought process that goes into deciding to make this a business that I have no actual opinion. I'm just left perplexed. So I pose to you the same question I posted on the XY page. Would you join a social media site that is all about audio porn? Porn stories. I'm not even talking about just moans and grunts, but actual porn stories.
Like a porno podcast.
Right, it's like porn podcasts. And not even like people talking about sex, like that's what we do on XY. No, it's essentially one of those really stupid novels that people would buy at a store, or like 50 Shades of Grey, which I guess is still one of those really stupid novels. And it's read aloud and talked about and this by people and they comment. So I ask you, would you join social media about audio-only porn? And if so, I inform you, look up Quinn. Quinn. TryQuinn.com, right? TryQuinn.com. Two N's, yeah. Quinn. Okay. Yeah, that one really, it threw me off. Also this week, something else that threw me off was the day that you remember that it's been a year since Stan Lee has passed away. That day passed this week. It was November 8th. And in the wake of Stan Lee's passing, we remember all that he created for us to enjoy. And he'll tell you it wasn't by himself. And he'll give more credit to Jack Kirby and all the crew of Marvel as a staff as a whole than he would just be his. You know, his one thing for sure is definitely Spider-Man. That's his baby. But even then, he says the idea wasn't his own. Like this guy was one of the most humblest people that lived on this world, and for geekdom, he's probably number one in the books. But in his wake is so much creative love and joy and whatever that, like, his life had meaning. So, you know, we remember you for all that you did for all of us, you know, as someone who represented a group of people who didn't know that we needed representation at the time. Right? This guy was an innovator, and thank you. And also because of what he did, we are left with the MCU. But not just the MCU. Disney bought them out. And Disney this week launched Disney Plus. This streaming service, in under an hour, has changed the game. It launched Sunday. And it launched at 6 a.m. on the dot. By 7:30, when I got from leaving the Bronx, right? I stayed home a little later than I should have just to make sure I could download Mandalorian. From leaving the Bronx, getting to my job in Manhattan, in about 90 minutes, the number of people who were talking about the Disney catalog, because they didn't, like you guys, they weren't informed about all the stuff. Like, I told you guys what would be coming out in the catalog. I told you, I posted it on there, so hopefully you weren't surprised. But all the people that were surprised by Darkwing Duck, by The Simpsons, by Gargoyles, X-Men, right? And not just that, I've been hearing people all week talk about Jeff Goldblum's show. I've been hearing people all week talk about the stuff that their kids are watching on there, like, Forky's little question thing that he's doing now from this Toy Story character, right? All week long, everyone has gone back to being a little kid. And those of us who haven't have now started referring to it as Disney Plus and chill, right? Because no one's talking about Netflix anymore. I believe the best post I heard so far was 20 minutes into Disney Plus and chill, and I already have a friend in me. Right, there you go. Let that one sink in just a little bit. All the memes. It's no longer Netflix and chill. It's Disney Plus and dick down. Like, this is what's been going on all week. It's a revolution in just a week. And I'm telling you, I saw it within just the first 90 minutes of existence. And it's only going to get better, folks. We're going to talk about Mandalorian a little bit later, but this has been a great thing. And if you haven't gotten Disney Plus, for those of you who are sports fans, get the upgraded version. Do it month to month when you know there's a big fight you want to see, because ESPN Plus is a part of it. I know I shouldn't be trying to sell you Disney Plus, but I'm not doing it for Disney. I'm doing it as a actual fan of creativity, and I'm doing it as a fan of what they're... Bro, the moment that I told people what was actually offered, because they were debating it, instantaneously they were whipping out their phones. I'm trying to put you on so you can enjoy your time. Disney Plus is dope. That's my review. No stars, no nothing, just dope. Alright? Although, Disney, you heard that review? Like, if you want to sponsor, brother, let me know. Alright, y'all got money out the wazoo. They own just about everything. Between them and Amazon, who has a business anymore? Tell me I'm wrong. So, yeah, I'm definitely with them. However, because Disney Plus in a week is making Netflix, like, they've been peeing their pants for a minute, and now they're drowning in urine. They decided to team up with Nickelodeon, who, has always had beef with Disney since the channel came out. And they're going to start creating original projects. They're going to start making new stuff with old characters, new characters. They're going to be trying to fight Disney as best they can. I think this could be big, but you got to remember, Disney's about to absorb Fox and all their old shows. Disney also just putting out the word officially. Dragon Ball will be coming alive through Disney. Live action series with Asian actors. Yes, Asian actors for sure. Not going to get that Dragon Ball Evolution bull crap with white Goku. Really? Like, really? So we're going to have Asian actors. And the only question is, are they going to start at Z, or are they going to try and do Dragon Ball? Now, I think, honestly, it would be a smart move to go with Z. Z is a much more popular series. And being that it's Disney doing it, again, Disney does MCU. They've already been promised a big budget for this, so we're talking at, a good quality as far as the visuals to this movie, right? Because we already know their CGI, their animation, everything is top tiered when it comes to Disney. And if they can't do it themselves, Pixar. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna make it poppin'. And if it's a good movie that has a good fandom, we could have a Dragon Ball live action franchise. That alone, just the
Wait a minute.
yeah. Just the promise of that I don't know how Netflix is going to keep up. But I'm very interested. This might be a more interesting battle than AEW versus NXT. I'm just saying. This is going to be great. On that note, we're going to go to our next commercial break. And when we come back, a little bit more news. But we're going to get to our fans of the week and the whole review thing. All right? So we'll catch you in a few. Charles?
Want you to know, oh, I don't wanna keep riding solo. Put your hand in mine, we'll fly, just let go. You caught me off guard, oh, you unlocked my heart without a question. Had me from the very first impression. Standing steady, holding strong through all the ups and downs. I was fine, but since you're mine, it turned my world around. 7 billion people here, and you're the one I want. In a world of doubles, you can be my other. 7 billion people here, and you're the one I want. Everything you do and say makes a picture perfect day. I'll be here, 'cause you're the one I want. Time can only tell, oh, where we're gonna go and what we'll do there. Wherever this may lead, I'm in, I don't care. They don't really know, oh, in a crowded room, it's you I see first. When I see a smile, it lights up my world. Standing steady, holding strong through all the ups and downs. I was fine, but since you're mine, it turned my world around. 7 billion people here, and you're the one I want. In a world of doubles, you can be my other. 7 billion people here, and you're the one I want. Everything you do and say makes a picture perfect day. I'll be here, 'cause you're the one I want. Tell me what I've done to deserve your love. I don't want nobody else. 7 billion people here, and you're the one I want. In a world of doubles, you can be my other. 7 billion people here, and you're the one I want. Everything you do and say makes a picture perfect day. I'll be here, 'cause you're the one I want. You're the one. 7 billion people here, and you're the one I want.
All right, we're back. So, first, could cover a little bit of science stuff because I did want to give you a little bit of science news. One, doctors are saying that fake eyelashes are spreading lice and other diseases, which I didn't know you can get eyelash lice.
Well, could they be diving off of that?
Well, yeah, like, cause I'm just like, how does it even, like, where does it go? How does it get to the next person? Are you guys getting butterfly kisses or something? But it is a thing, and essentially they're saying that fake eyelashes are spreading this because people don't normally properly clean their fake eyelashes. They reuse them. They don't have temporary ones. You know, they have, like, stuff that they buy and they keep it and whatever. And because they don't take proper care of it, it's becoming more of an epidemic. So either A, just use the ones God gave you, or actually care about the crap you're putting on your face. Like, you guys will spend 30 minutes in a store to try and pick out one kind of mascara but you won't even wash the damn eyelashes? What's wrong with you? I'm sorry. I can't understand women. I can't understand women. Because you know damn well it's not dudes doing this. It's not. I don't care how many people live in the East Village. The epidemic is definitely feminine. Okay? Then, another weird thing that, I guess is something. People are eating plastic because they're eating fish, especially in the West Coast, that are eating microplastic. So essentially, all this kind of crap that humans are making for their technology is getting into the water in the Pacific. And because the things fluttering through the water look exactly like the larva of the fish that, carnivorous fish eat, it gets in their system and it's starting to mess with their species. But because we eat those same fish, we're eating the same crap that they shouldn't. So just kind of be careful of what you're eating when it comes to seafood out in the Pacific, and kind of just stop randomly dumping trash into our water, because it eventually always comes back to us. Okay, environmental notice from Will's Review. Idiots. I can't. Then this is really funny. So a lot of schools have been spending a lot of extra money to catch students smoking vape pens, right? Especially in bathrooms and things like that. However, there's more and more footage of children proving that schools shouldn't waste any of their budgets on these vape sensories, because they're beating them in the most simple ways, right? People are blowing the vape smoke into their bags, into their shirts, which then diffuses it before the time that it's thick enough for the sensor to pick it up. They're like, some kids are simply just smoking it outright, smoking really quickly, and then running out before any principal or vice principal or teacher can be notified and reach them. Like, they're just pretty much, it's a tech thing for a lot of people, and especially for those in education. Just don't invest in vape sensors. All right, I just saved you a crap ton of money for schools. Board of Ed, you're welcome. All right. Like, these kids can't figure out a math problem, but they are figuring out how to simply beat these expensive pieces of equipment that you are wasting your money on. Next is something that I love, because Android people love to trash iPhone users. But there are 29 different brands of Android, including Google, right? And Google's Google, so they should have their ish together, right? Wrong. 29 brands of Androids come with 146 different hacks that are embedded into the root and of core systems of your devices that can't be purged. They can't be getting rid of, because part of the core script to how your whole thing functions. 146 errors in 29 different companies for Androids, not iPhone, not iOS. No, there's a reason why we let y'all test our stuff first, so that we don't have 146 default problems with our technology. In your face, Android. Well, why'd you spend an extra $100 and something? So I didn't have 146 problems. And guess what?
An Android 8.1.
Thank you. An Android 8.1. He already took my punchline. That's simple. But lastly, I guess second to last. The likes on your Instagram may be wrong this particular week, because Instagram was testing out a no-like program to see if they would help with their anti-bullying campaign. To which I tell Instagram, so you intentionally made me have to hit the like button 50 times on that picture that one time this week? Just to make the like go through? A-holes. I've been saying F Facebook. But you make the list. And lastly, finally, Robert Downey Jr. has not left Marvel. He's just not going to be Iron Man all the time. Jeff Goldblum opened up his big old mouth, as we all know him to do, and explained that he just finished wrapping up some scenes with Robert Downey Jr., and that there have been a couple others to cut some scenes with him as well. So we will still continuously see Robert Downey Jr. in some upcoming Marvel projects. I'm not guaranteeing you the big screen, but again, Disney Plus was just released this past week, and y'all need to get it. And Disney, you need to give me some sponsorship money. But we'll move on, and we'll get to the best part, which for me is the fans of the week. So first off, from Instagram, we have Kia, Infamous K, who's from Salem, land of the witch killings. That should be first. Infamous K.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Then next we have our good friend Kiki Inyoshi, who just recently cut her hair. So I'm putting that out there because she put it on social media. I'll hear about this later. I don't care. Then we have Kevin. Action Jackson, yes, sir. And like I told you, whenever you go out with Kevin, something crazy happens. Did I not? Flamethrower? Really? What the hell, man? What do you be getting yourself into? I don't know. From Facebook, we have Sharon Scott, who comes from New Zealand, right? This week on Facebook, it was the foreigners who took it. So we have New Zealand, which, go All Blacks. If y'all don't know, it's not a black thing. It's rugby. Their team is called the All Blacks, and I love them because they beat the crap out of England every year. And last but not least, Will Ingram, who is from Alberta, Canada. So again, another foreigner, or I guess American Junior. There you go. So those are your 5 fans of the week, and then the picture of the week. Charles, what's the picture of the week? It's called a man bun. But what does the cat say? The bitch biscuit. Right? The meme of the week is essentially, for me anyway, I mean, it's been a meme for a while, the crazy lady from, I think that's, what's the Real Housewives, right? Yeah, one of the Real Housewives screaming at somebody, and the cat replying with the ugly face to the salad, has been my meme of this week, for sure. But this one is my favorite. It's called the man bun. Bitch biscuit. Because essentially, I feel like the man bun deserves to be called a bitch biscuit. That cat speaks facts.
This meme been going around. Not this one, but
Yeah, the cat and the girl. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. But for this particular week, I think I spammed it a lot. All over. Facebook, Instagram, my other social media. Like, I've just been spamming it because I've been finding so many of them for no reason. And don't forget, it's almost time for greens and peas and all that to be coming. So, I'm going to probably spam whatever I find of that, too, in the next week or so. But then we have our actual movies, which is kind of why we do this thing, right, Charles? I mean, kind of, sort of why, maybe. That's kind of how it's going to start it. So, first is on Netflix, we have Free For All. I know I've been talking Disney Plus up, but I got subscriptions everywhere, all right? My love is for the art and the craft and the killings. I love movies that have killings. This movie right here is a 4 out of 5. It's only not a 5 because why is it of everybody, a black dude got to get popped in the head? Everybody getting popped in the shoulder, popped in the leg. He takes a bullet to the head. And like the first person to pretty much be dead. Sad day. But this movie is really funny. It's kind of like a 60s, 70s throwback, drug deal gone wrong, and it becomes hilarious. It does take about 20 minutes to really get good. That's when some of the action really starts going down. And I'm not even talking just pure gunslinging. I'm talking just like a lot of the good back and forths and the awkwardness to the drug deal that obviously you know is going to go left. This was something that when I saw the trailer for in theater, I didn't think it was going to be something I would enjoy in theaters. And I stand by that after viewing it now on small screen. But I knew that I would have to watch it. So I'm glad that Netflix provided this for me because I've been waiting to watch this movie for a long time. So, Free For All. Great movie. Next, I also, on Netflix, watched the Hey Arnold, that jungle movie that came out where like he finds his parents. Finally got around to seeing that. That wasn't that bad. Good 4 out of 5. It doesn't surprise me that they're putting it on Netflix now that Disney Plus is about to get released. But, I always wondered why Arnold's parents weren't really around, and now we find them. He wakes them up, and perhaps we can get a Hey Arnold series where they're really around like that. Might change the game. Who knows? Might ruin the series, which a lot of things do. But I'm willing to see it. Next is Undercover Brother 2. So remember how I told you Eddie Griffin wasn't in it and Michael Jai White was? Well, it makes sense because the whole movie is not about Undercover Brother. It's about Undercover Brother's brother, who's called Undercover Brother's brother. Do most of the movie. This blaxploitation parody is just a lot of fun. It's really silly, but again, it is a blaxploitation parody. There's but so much humor that can really reach anyone who either is an A, black, or B, hates millennials and Gen Z anyway. I did enjoy how they changed the purpose of the man. That was great. That was actually excellent. Most creative part about it. But all in all, like, it is a movie of comical moments, but not a comical movie, if that makes any sense. And for that reason, it's a 3.5 out of 5. If you enjoyed the first Undercover Brother, give it a shot. If you never saw Undercover Brother, I'm probably going to tell you to skip it. And if you're, like I said, someone who's black, or you hate millennials and Gen Z, yeah, you know, you run through your queue, put this on. It'll entertain you. But again, bit of a slow starter. A lot of funny moments. Not a funny movie. Just think about that. Right. Next was another big thing I was excited for when I heard it was a project. Green Eggs and Ham turned into a TV series. This is a 4.5 out of 5. Only reason it's not perfect is that the pacing is a little off. At times, it seems a little slow. Other times, it seems like, wait, how did they get here? I think, you know, Keegan does a great job as the voiceover narrator. I love the fact that they really, like, he's a very animated person vocally, so it fits with the whole Dr. Seuss feel. The way they found a way to stretch out a lot of the story was very creative. It's definitely more of an original tale than it is to the book. And they still found a way to take some really cool key moments from the book and even line by line them into the show. So it was kind of dope. It wasn't all rhyming, which again would have been really annoying to watch for 12 or 13 episodes. But it's a really good show. It's a really good family show. I think everybody who ever read the book should watch it. And if you've never read the book, read the book, then watch it. Like, this needs to be seen by everyone everywhere. How Disney let this go slip through their fingers? I don't know. But you need to be stealing it from them soon because it's definitely a good project. Like, it's definitely a good project. You know, after you give me my money, you need to then go get this project. And last but not least is the show of the season, Mandalorian. All right? So, anyone who knows me knows that I like sci-fi. And one of the biggest sci-fi series of all time is easily Star Wars, right? Whether you're a Star Trek fan or not, you cannot deny the appeal that Star Wars has on this country, on this world. I mean, we have people pretending to be Jedis in England. You know, there are people who literally have their own stormtrooper groups to conventions. Like, you have to apply online to be considered to enter their, like, stormtrooper, like, I guess, what do they call those? Battalion, right? And to go to events with them. Like, if you try to walk up with their group, they will kick you out. Like, no, you're not one of us. They give you your little number and all that. Like, it's that serious. That's how big Star Wars is. So when you have something with that much of a global significance, for some, it is a steadfast point in their geekdom. It marks an entire generation as one of the biggest movies of its time, and has spawned one of the longest running franchises of all time, inspired video games, animated series. Like, there's a lot to live up to. And especially to be one of the first big hits on Disney's new launch streaming, a lot of expectations. So first and foremost, the series is perfect so far. There have only been 2 episodes, and I can tell you I've honestly not been disappointed. The series finds a way to introduce a new story about a Mandalorian hunter, right? These are the most badass bounty hunters in any galaxy, near or far, far away. And he does just that. He has this super dope protective armor, walks in, kind of just bang, bang, takes his mark, and gets the hell out. From jump. Like, that's just how they started off. There are the traditional Star Wars monsters coming out of nowhere, some cool aliens that you see, you know, visually and, you know, actual capabilities. And then the cutest little thing in the world is a baby Yoda. Like a baby Yoda. Now here's the thing. I'm thinking this is baby Yoda until someone tells me that Mandalorian is actually later in the timeline. So it's not even, I don't even think this is baby Yoda. I think this is just whatever the hell Yoda is as an alien, which I don't know. I'm sure there's like tons of people right now that's like, he's a such and such. How don't you know this? I thought you said you liked Star Wars. Because I'm not a nerd. And Star Wars is not my area of expertise in geekdom. Okay? I'm otaku. Japanese pop culture. And I'm one who's not a complete loser. So I actually have a life. Sorry. So, anywho, it is the cutest little baby thing I've seen in a very long time. And it's super badass that it can use the Force already. And there's only been 2 episodes, right? This movie perfectly encaptures the whole experience of a Star Wars movie in about 40 minutes, right? As far as the quality of the animation, the quality of the live action, the worlds that are being developed, the musical scores, everything that you love about Star Wars condensed into 40 minutes with clear, concise, like a middle, beginning, and ending to an episode. Sure, it's TV. There's a little bit of cliffhangers, but you can feel the progression of the story a lot better than you can between an episode 1 and an episode 2 of any of their stories. Sorry. Right? You actually start to grow to love the Mandalorian hunter himself, too. Despite him being kind of aloof, you start to kind of understand where he's coming from. Not to say connect with him, but he's your protagonist. You should love your protagonist. Should. Not always do, but should. And he's somewhat lovable. Also, there's a really dope, annoying, but lovable alien who pretty much tells you what it is, and then it goes, and I have spoken. And I think I'm about to make that my new catchphrase when I lay down the law, like, yeah, so you're going to do this, this, and this, and I have spoken. And then walk away, because that's exactly what he does, and I need that energy in my life. I think you do too. Like, just speak it into existence and tell people that's what it is before they even have a chance to refute you. Just make it. Be a boss. Like that alien. Just be a boss. This show's so good, and it's 2 episodes in. It'll be releasing every Friday. So bear with it. It's not a binge watch. I think most things on Disney Plus are not going to be binge watches. This way, you have to keep coming back. Netflix, if you know when your show's coming, you can dead cancel your subscription and re-sign up. Disney's going to make sure you keep their programming each and every week. Smart move, Disney. Netflix learned something. And on that note, that's been this episode of Will's Review. We'll catch you guys.
Excuse me, I'm next in line. Move. Excuse me, I'm next in line. Watch out. Excuse me, I'm next in line. I said move.